Thor is the greatest, the best superhero of all time. Whether it's just in Marvel DC, the whole, superhero universe, Thor is the greatest superhero of all time. Here's why Thor is the greatest. Here we have a god that lives up in Asgard, who could be chilling in Asgard, relaxing in Asgard. But he uses his time to help, the mortals, to help the humans. And not only just on Earth, he's helping other planets, galaxies, helping his own home. This is a prince, a guy that is like wealthy, who could just be chilling and doing nothing. But he goes out there, and whether or not he's over 1,000-year-old or durable, he uses his abilities for good, and he risks his own life, his own time, to help save people who probably are undeserving. And another thing why Thor is the greatest, because he knows when to kill, and he knows when not to. And when you go up against Thor, he's gonna give you a chance. He's gonna give you a chance to surrender. He holds back and he says, surrender, or, he gives you a chance. But when you continue to do bad things and to attack the god of thunder, then Thor, he's not going to just throw you in jail so you can come back out. He's going to kill you. Thor doesn't want to be a killer, but he's a warrior. He wants the peace. And, he gives his enemies a chance. Unlike some superheroes, they capture them and they put them in jail and they're back doing the same thing over and over again. But Thor's a lot different. That's why I like Thor, and that's why I like the Punisher as well. But this is about Thor. But Thor is the best superhero of all time. Here's a guy that is a team player. He's a team player. Asgard, and even the Avengers. And there's other groups he's a part of too, but he's a team player. This guy could have, demonstrate his, authority, his boldness, his, overconfidentness, and say, hey, Captain America, Iron Man, get back. I'm the leader of this ship. But nah, he has respect for his, teammates. He has respect. Thor knows his place. Thor knows he can lead. Thor knows, he can kill every single villain easily. But this guy, he lets Cap and Iron Man lead. He lets them lead, He's not aggressive towards them. He doesn't fight for leadership because, Thor knows it's pity. All Thor wants to do is help save the world. To help save Midgard. And here's a guy who again, Thor doesn't need the Avengers. The Avengers need Thor. I mean, you take away Thor, like what is there? Whatever incarnation of the originals, what is there? Sure, you got a good team still, but it's not a good team. It's not an impactful team without the God of Thunder. When you put the God of Thunder in the mix, it's like, dude, this is a team you don't want to mess with. And that's the thing with Thor. Thor is like a Joker. Thor is like a Loki. We all know Thor can, destroy anyone. Thor holds back. He can kill anyone. But even when he's up against, villains that are like lesser than him, He holds back and he lets his fellow Avengers, his teammates, get the win instead. Thor could easily kill Ultron, Thanos, etc. The name goes on. You can't tell me the God of Thunder, weather manipulator, this all-powerful God can't beat Thanos? This guy has so much power, so much ability, so he's so versatile. So versatile. Even if you kill Thor, he always finds a way to come back anyways. So Thor is like one of the best superheroes ever created. The best of all time. I know Thor is based on the myths and all, but I'm talking about like superheroes. His abilities are he can do everything and anything. Yeah, I know every version of Thor is different, but this guy is versatile. In Endgame, when what's that guy's name is? The guy from Hydra in Endgame, I thought it was disrespectful of him to Pierce. I think it's Pierce, something Pierce. Disrespectful of him to step up to the God of Thunder like that. You should have been trembling to step up to the God of Thunder, demanding Loki to stay back. Like, really? This guy is too bright. Thor should have smacked him. Should have just killed Hydra right then and there. And you can't tell me Odin and Hamdall didn't know anything about Hydra. I bet they knew. They knew everything about Hydra. And Hamdall could have, said something to Thor, and Thor would be like, oh, these are Hydra? Let's kill them now. End of story. Like, what is Hydra going to do to Thor? Again, you put any other character's villains, they can't compare to Thor. That's why they had to create Gore the God Butcher, because all the other villains are just, they can't compare to the God of Thunder. You have to give these other, villains, other variants of themselves. Like, I don't know, like, the Phoenix and other Doctor Strange. All these other guys have to have variants, but Thor is like always just Thor. I know Thor has other variants, yes, but Thor is always Thor. But everyone else has to have that other extra power up. They always have to, because you can't mess with Thor. And don't get me started on the Hulk. Oh my goodness, you're telling me a god who can control lightning, weather, storms, make it rain, cause earthquakes, his magical hammer, all the other things that it comes with it, he can't beat the Hulk? What, are you kidding me? A god who's been trained for over thousands of years cannot just slice the Hulk's head off? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And I'm not taking anything away from the Hulk, but Hulk is not in Thor's league. I'm sorry. If it was, come on, be realistic. Be common sense. Have some logical. Have some sense. If they just had Thor just go out there, smack the Hulk, cut his head off in a single scan, it's not a good story. They know it's not a good story, so they kind of have to make the Hulk look stronger and better, just to make the story tolerable, just to make a scene tolerable. But we all know Thor could put Hulk in detention. Hulk could suspend the Hulk, put Hulk in a daycare, pay for Hulk's daycare fees. Thor can serve the Hulk some breakfast, man, and smack him. Telling me the God of Thunder can't take on the Hulk? Come on. No one could touch the Hulk. No one could touch Thor. No one could touch Thor. I may have mixed up the names, but all I'm saying is, like, no one can touch Thor. Like what? Thor is magical. Thor is strong, has various abilities, speed. He has the wisdom, the knowledge. He's Asgard. He has so much in his repertoire. And everyone else is just, this guy has strength, this guy's this guy's that. But Thor is like the greatest of all time. The best superhero to ever exist. The greatest. And the reason why, many stories are always focused on the hammer is because if Thor didn't have the hammer, he just goes out there with lightning and punching. We've already seen that. There's so many heroes out there with brute strength, a little bit of abilities, and that. We've seen so many. There's so many out there. Like there's so many Superman clones out there. But Thor with the hammer, it makes him much more of an interesting character. It makes him different. And Thor is very different from any other comic book superhero. He's very different. Like even like Superman, he has to go up against normal humans from time. Humans. Superman's main villain is a bald human. And I always ask myself, what would happen if the Kingpin went up against Thor? That would not be a match. But Superman is still battling Lex Luthor after all these years. Sure, Superman has other villains that are, very strong, but Superman's main enemy is a bald guy, a bald human. And Thor's main villain is, man, it's hard to say who's Thor's main, because he has so much of them. We can say Loki, but that's his brother. That's a family thing. Like who's Thor's main villain? Like who's Thor's? There is none, because no other villain can compare to what Thor is. And Thor has tons of villains too, like tons. Mangog, Destroyer, Surtur, Hela. Oh man, Curse. The list goes on. Again, Gore the God Butcher. Again, Gore the God Butcher. Man, he's that story was one of the most poetic, thinking stories. Here's a guy who's been cursed, or his family, his home has been, has not had the best of luck, and he's wondering where's God? What has God done? Why hasn't God looked or protected him? And he goes out there killing gods. That's like one of the best stories out there. And yeah, I know Thor's the greatest. I know you're probably asking why doesn't Thor help with poverty and things like that, or help with Gore the God Butcher. Yeah, true. You got me there. But so is all the other superheroes as well. They don't all help with poverty. They only help with their own business. But you know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. In terms of what we've seen and know, Thor is the best superhero of all time. And again, if Thor wanted to, let's say it comes down to Superman and Thor to help, feed people all over the world. Thor could make it rain, stop storms. I mean, rain. Come on. He can make it rain. Like what can Superman do? Maybe drink a lot of water and then spit it out. But Thor can make it rain all over the world, all over a region. Not even storm can compare to the God of Thunder. This is the God of thunder, the God of weather. You guys gotta, stop this favoritism. Favoritism is horrible. Being a fanboy is horrible. You gotta look at the facts. Look at their abilities, their history. Look at what they're capable of doing. Don't worry about, he didn't beat this guy. Come on, guys. Again, really, end of the day, Thor is the greatest superhero, the greatest teammate, the greatest king, the greatest prince, the greatest god in all of the superhero. This is, again, a god coming down to help man. He's actually helping man. This is a god coming down to help man defeat certain villains. A god. Come on. Not even the elders or the Eternals do this. But Thor, man. Guys, man, stop. Don't joke. Don't joke around. No more favoritism. No more fanboyism. No more, being a hater of Thor. Just respect Thor. At least respect him. At least acknowledge what this guy can do and has done. Here's a guy that holds back at least 50% of the time, because this guy knows he can kill villains or enemies in like seconds. Thor can break and destroy planets. I mean, let's say Thor, became bloodlusted. Come on. Let's say Thor became bloodlusted and angry, warrior madness mode, and he wants to destroy Earth. Who's going to stop him? Thor wants to destroy Earth. He flies into space. Who is going to stop Thor other than Odin? I'm talking about Earth only. Earth only. Who is going to stop Thor on Earth? What is Hulk going to do? Jump all the way into space and try to punch him? Come on, people. Or is Captain America going to throw his shield from Earth to hit him? Please. Okay. How about any non-human? Any alien? Like who's going to stop Thor? Galactus? Again, if Thor wants to, Thor could smite Galactus. I mean, there are some, barriers maybe, but again, they can't stop him. And even if they try stopping him, the damage is going to be done anyways. As they're fighting him, the damage is still going to be happening. The lightning is still going to be going on. So you can't stop Thor. The Avengers got to be grateful they have Thor as a teammate. Because imagine if the roles were reversed and Loki was like the good guy and Thor was the bad guy. How are you going to stop that guy? Obviously plot device, but be realistic. Yeah, be realistic. Be realistic in a fictional world. How would you stop Thor? You damn well that the Hulk smashing thing isn't going to work. You damn well know, a little bow and arrow is not going to work. So, how are you going to stop Thor? You can't. Because the truth is, Thor is the greatest superhero. The best superhero. Even on Earth, in the universe, in the galaxy. He's the greatest superhero of Marvel, greatest superhero of DC, greatest of all superhero universes. Greatest ever. I mean, he's powerful, but he doesn't have to be at certain times. So Thor's the best. Thor is the greatest. And another thing, Thor doesn't have to hide behind a mask. Thor isn't like Superman where he has to hide. Superman doesn't wear a mask, but Thor doesn't need to hide his identity because Thor ain't afraid. What's Thor afraid of? Like what is Superman afraid of? People find out who you are. Okay, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do to Superman? I think if people knew who Superman was, they're not gonna mess with Superman or his family. They'd be like, okay, I'm not gonna mess with this guy. But Thor ain't like that because you ain't gonna mess with Thor. And don't count the Donald Blake thing. That's a very different situation. Very, very different. Thor ain't hiding behind no mask or a phone booth or a suit. He doesn't need to because Thor is the greatest. The greatest of all time. And if I had to choose the greatest the greatest human, like 100% human superhero. In terms of like feats and things, it's hard. It's hard to choose. But I think next to Thor, I'm not really a fan of her, but Captain Marvel is the, she's kind of not mixture of human alien, but maybe Blue Marvel, maybe. But again, it doesn't matter. All that matters is Thor is the greatest. The greatest superhero. The greatest, teammate. The greatest Asgardian of all time. And this guy is like the heart, of Marvel, man. Thor changed the whole landscape of superheroism. I mean, you can't find any other superhero like Thor. Not even Wonder Woman. What is Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman flies on invisible things, and she still has a rope. I don't hate Wonder Woman, but I'm not a fan of all that. So, Thor is the greatest of all time for Asgard.